Hello, everyone. My name is Fernanda Fonseca Rosenblatt, and I will be facilitating RP622 throughout the next 10 weeks. I'm very much looking forward to that. I always have a great experience every year, learning a lot from the wealth of experience that you all bring to our courses. Well, a little bit about myself. I'm a mother of two. I have a little 1-year-old and a little 3-year-old. I'm Brazilian, based in Brazil. So apart from working for the IRP, I'm also a criminal law professor at the Catholic University of Pernambuco, which is located in a city called Recife at the northeast part of Brazil. Well, I live in Brazil, but at the moment I'm in Belgium, as I'm doing a few conferences and giving a few lectures here in Europe for the last almost 1 month. But in 2 weeks' time, I'll be back home and talking with all of you from Recife. Well, RP622 it's a pleasure to teach. It's a pleasure to learn from it as well. And every summer, I try to bring new readings in and bring a little bit of what I have been experienced throughout the years and the conferences that I have been to and so on. But basically, the aims here are to give a good idea of the history and development of restorative justice, and also help us distinguish between what would be current criminal justice practices versus restorative practices. So what makes a practice be restorative, and within the criminal justice context, and how can we apply restorative justice concepts to real world incidents of crime. And finally, what are the gaps between restorative justice research and practice? Although the standing point in this course will be the criminal justice system, lots of the discussions, actually all the discussions that are going to come up, are relevant for other environments. So if you work in schools, if you use restorative practices in the workplace, or so on, all the discussions that we will engage in this course, I would argue, are equally relevant for other environments outside the criminal justice system. Of course, that within the criminal justice system, perhaps the degree of challenge might be somewhat different, but I'm sure we will have, regardless of your backgrounds, and naturally because of your diverse backgrounds, we will have a lot to learn from each other, and that's my hope for this course. I hope you had the time to go through Moodle and to give it a quick look. I will share here my screen with you now. And as you can see, we have here a welcome letter where I explain some basics on the course. And what I would like to draw attention to is how I've organized the course, or sought to organize the course. So our 10 weeks will be divided into 8 units, will fall into 8 units. In the beginning, the aim is to talk a bit more about the concept and principles and values of restorative justice, so that we can leave Unit 1 with a fair idea, and an organized or systematized idea of what restorative justice is meant to be or is. Already in the first unit, you'll have a first real-world assignment, which is to bring in a newspaper article about a crime incident that happened in your community, and we will discuss this through restorative lenses, and start an exercise that I hope becomes prominent in this course, which is how restorative justice may be applied in the real world. So I really would like to be able to, along with you guys, couple theory and practice research and real world incidents of crime. In Unit 2 then, as you can see here, we will start to, let's say, dig into the concept of restorative justice and pinpoint some of the most important elements. So encounter, inclusion, amends or reparation, victim, offender. We will discuss these fundamental elements and stakeholders, bringing some challenges and also hopefully setting the big potentials of restorative justice in dealing with crime. In Unit 3 then, we will go a little bit more practical and think about how restorative justice has been done, and that's between brackets, on the ground. Here there will be another opportunity to examine and analyze real-world incidents or events or services through restorative justice lenses, as you will be asked to interview a criminal justice professional about restorative justice. This will be a nice way of exercising our own concept of restorative views and perceptions of restorative justice. We'll then go on to Unit 4 and dig into research. So we will analyze some research findings, important and relevant research findings, but we will also do that starting to put on a critical lenses and start to pinpoint the gaps between research and practice. And this will set the scene for Unit 5, where we will finally end our readings for the course, or our required readings for the course, with some very critical literature, not as a means of not as a mean of being against restorative justice or anything like that, but as a means of building a strong argument for restorative justice, one that is aware of the challenges, one that is aware of the possible criticisms, and so on. I think that Unit 5 is my favorite because it's really challenging, and it kinds of stretches our imagination, how far restorative justice can actually go, and I think it puts all the other units together in a nicely critical way. The course then ends with two main assignments, which is the persuasive paper and the final assignment, which is the learning portfolio, and of course a checkout. And don't worry, because as I explain here somewhere in the letter, in the welcome letter, we will have 3 Zoom meetings, and one of these meetings we will have just before you have to hand in the persuasive paper and the learning portfolio, so that you don't feel lost on what is expected by these papers. I hope you all really enjoyed the course. I'm sure I will. I always do. And I have really enjoyed preparing it. Please feel free to contact me directly via email with any specific questions that you may have. Take your time these first days to read through the whole Moodle course so that you can plan yourself with the dates and everything. And I look forward to starting Unit 1 tomorrow. See you. It's a real pleasure to be here, and see you tomorrow.